Even though I am currently stomping around the mean streets of Milwaukee over at Adepticon, I still pre-made my Old World Wednesday video just for you guys because I refuse to let up the steam on that awesome series. I'm going to be delving back into my Dogs of War army, and I'm going to be painting up a model from a unit that I was worried about being in my scheme. My orange and black scheme I think will suit pretty much any model, but this one I was worried about. So let's see if I manage to pull it off in this video. Okay, here is the adorable Lumpin himself. So these are halfling mercenaries, and I'm going to give you a little bit about their background story and then see if this miniature works with my particular scheme. When I put together this army, I did do a Dogs of War video at the beginning of this whole project where I kind of assembled the force and got it built and painted, or sorry, stripped and cleaned and sprayed and got ready for war. And every unit that I saw on the table, I could immediately see in my Dogs of War color scheme how it was going to work and how it was going to look. Except for these guys. I wasn't going to sure whether the color scheme was going to work for these. They're usually in such natural tones. Think of like Robin Hood. It's all kind of greens and yellows and stuff. And obviously I'm going for much darker colors with the orange and the black. So I'm very curious to see how it's going to look by the end of this video. But first of all, let's talk about who these guys are and why I have them in my army. Apart from the fact that I love halflings in pretty much all aspects of the game. So, Lumpin Croop's Fighting Cocks are a famous band of mercenary scouts that hail from the peaceful and agricultural farmland of the Moot, the homeland of the Halfling race. Known to command high prices, they are thought lucky rather than highly competent, and are as famed for their entertaining banter as for their skill with a bow. The race of halflings is mostly thought of as peaceable, well-meaning, honest and sociable. This at least is the common view, and it is a view readily encouraged by the sight of rosy-cheeked, well-fed halfling faces and broad halfling smiles. Such are nature's gifts to that race. However, even amongst the tolerant and easygoing people, there is the odd proverbial rotten apple that spoils an otherwise toothsome batch. In this case, the rotten apple goes by the name of Lumpin Croop, and the batch in question is known as the Lumpin Croop's Fighting Cocks. The next part of Lumpin's story I actually decided to cut out of the video because it's not very pleasant, and to be honest, it's a little insensitive, so I actually recorded it and then decided to take it out. So you guys can go and look it up for yourself, but I find it kind of bizarre that it's written into his lore. But anyway, we shall move on to more interesting parts of his story. Lumpin Croop became a poacher, his extraordinarily acute night vision providing a great advantage on dark, moonless evenings. Lumpin soon learned to support himself from the surrounding farms and estates. This was an annoyance to the many gamekeepers who found their game stocks and reputations plummeting fast. One day, Lumpin happened to visit the Old Pig and Bucket, a shady hostelry in the otherwise attractive village of Beggar's End. The inn's landlord, Rago Barrelgut, had been an eager buyer of poached rabbit in the past. On this occasion, however, the rabbit pie was noticeably absent from the menu. Instead, the snug was brimming with a mob of angry gameskeeper led by the notoriously crazed Ned Hamfist. The gameskeepers were all armed with cudgels. Rago was hiding in a corner, looking embarrassed and a bit frightened. Anticipating a sound beating, Lumpin immediately launched into a long and complicated story. Once he had begun, he soon found himself spinning a yarn of excitement, treasure, and vast banquets waiting to be had in the lands over the mountains. The gamekeepers were taken aback by the young poacher's tale and soon put all thoughts of vengeance aside. Eagerly, they found themselves signing up to join Lumpin in his bright and exciting quest in the land of Tilia. Ned Hamfist bought drinks to toast their bold adventure, and soon Bright Spark came up with the name for their band, Lumpin Croop's Fighting Cocks. From that day to this, Lumpin has tried very hard to give the Fighting Cocks a slip. However, the gameskeepers are even better trackers than Lumpin and always manage to find him and insist that he takes them along on his adventures. Lumpin's regular attempts to escape are thought to be training exercises by his admirers. Similarly, his efforts to misdirect the Fighting Cocks away from Tilia and any chance of fighting are considered to be an initiative test. Unfortunately for Lumpin, the Fighting Cocks are extraordinarily good at direction finding, being experts at navigating their way around quietly in the dark. Their faith in Lumpin and their belief in his adventure is unshaken. The truth is that the fighting cocks are really rather good. All of their training exercises and initiative tests have honed their natural skills to the point where they are expert trackers and woodsmen. Their marksmanship is, as you would expect, second to none. Their woodsman's clothing and pelt caps adorned with feathers are memorable to say the least. Thanks to several remarkable battles, the fighting cocks have acquired a well-deserved reputation, and their services are now in great demand. On one occasion, Lumpin was credited with saving an entire army. An enemy force had worked its way behind the enemy's lines and was preparing to launch a devastating attack. At the same moment, Lumpin happened to be leading the fighting cocks directly away from the sound of fighting. Unknown to him, his route was taking the halflings straight towards the encircling army. In the ensuing clash, the fighting cocks fought with great enthusiasm and the enemy was scattered. Everyone was very impressed by Lumpin's foresight, not least Lumpin himself, and soon the fighting cocks were shown with offers of employment. Indeed, money has started to flow into the band's coffers, and Lumpin's impromptu tale of fame and riches is starting to come true. His troops believe in him utterly and take great pride in their leader's growing reputation. Lumpin himself is learning to live with his sudden change in fortune. He is becoming unexpectedly fond of the fighting cocks. Such is his dedication that even on the eve of battle, he can be found in his tent working hard on devising new training exercises. Okay, that's all the information that I have on the fighting cocks at this very moment. They have always been my favorite unit of dogs of war. They are so characteral and they're so much fun. And they honestly, this is the first time I've ever actually sat down and painted one from start to finish. And I must say that the entire process is thoroughly enjoyable. I actually have quite a large squad of 20 of these guys all ranked up, 2 ranks of 10. They look very imposing as a halfling unit can be on the tabletop. And I am very excited to get them painted up. Seeing now that the scheme that I'm using for my dogs of war does indeed pull through and work on this miniature, I'm starting to believe that this paint scheme is the best miniature paint scheme on the planet. I can't think of anything that doesn't look good in this scheme. So far, I've done a whole bunch of dogs of war. I've done a Bretonnian. I've even done a Space Marine in this scheme just to see how it would transfer across. And that Space Marine looks bloody amazing. I am very excited to work hard on my Dogs of War army this year and really hammer them out and get them into a tournament sometime this year. That's my goal. My whole goal for my Dogs of War is to try as hard as I can on each miniature, take them to a tournament representing an Empire army, and hopefully take away best army on the day, because they're going to be such unique, beautiful models, and hopefully my paint jobs will stand up and there'll be no kind of glorious painter there that'll make a holy show of me. That's my goal. That's my whole goal with my Dogs of War army, is to get a best painted trophy at a tournament with them. Can I do that? I don't know. It's not something that I'm particularly well suited to, but I think it'll be fun exercise trying to figure it out. Okay, as we go and put the final touches on Lumpin here himself, he is supposed to have a shield in that other hand, by the way. I'm just not quite sure which shield it's supposed to be. I've got baggies of old metal parts, and I can't figure out, if I go online and look at him, there's so many, you know, pictures of him from this side that I can't really see the designed side on it. I don't know whether there's actually like a cockerel on a shield or something somewhere. If I could find a cockerel transfer, that might look amazing actually. Ideas are always in my head. Okay, we're now adding a little bit of traditional old school PVA glue and some flock to his base. Just add that little splash of green, mix that in nice and good. And that will, of course, give us the final result of today's venture, which is Lumpin himself. Like I said, I love how this guy turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to do those things that really support the channel. Give the video a like, make sure you comment below, make sure you're subscribed. And if you really like what I do and want to help even further, there's things like Patreon and becoming a channel member. They're linked down below as well. Access to private Discord server, an extra video every single week, bunch of different events to be a part of. They're all there for people who are in the Patreon and a channel member. So if those things sound like they excite you, check them out below. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I hope you like the scheme, and I hope you're excited for more Dogs of War in the very near future.